Why is there such a lag? Is it just my computer or is it Facebook? I do not know. Anyway, hello, welcome. Happy Friday or Friday. Uh, just in case you're struggling a little bit there, I know it's been a bit of a week. Things are getting tiring again. But it is less than 3 weeks until Easter and a long weekend. So just thought I'd put that thought out there for you guys who are struggling and just need a couple of days to refresh and reset. I know I do, for sure. Anyway, back to the 10 tips on, the 10 common sort of pitfalls that everybody kind of goes through when they're starting a new health and fitness journey. For those who haven't caught the rest of the vlog series, we've done 7 tips so far, so we've got 3 more to go, and we're up to tip number 8. But essentially, these have broad applications to other aspects of any part of your life where you're trying to make a change. But they're particularly salient to, where you're trying to make particularly a body composition change or implement some new health and fitness changes. So today's tip is tip number 8, numbers nuttiness. So it's not uncommon for people when they start measuring things to get a bit excited, and then they start to overmeasure, and they also then start to assign a moral judgment to numbers and the trajectory of those numbers. So I guess the biggest thing here is, look, money is a numbers game, health and fitness not necessarily. So whilst, I've obviously, stressed in the last couple of tips that, it's important to measure what's actually happening and to be able to track the results and to make adjustments to the plan where necessary. The key is that, the results and the numbers aren't everything, right? And quite often you see people, start to live and die by numbers. I've actually had people as well who treat, like, when they've had body composition scans, and then they've come in a couple of times to get the body composition scan until they get the result that they want. And they just want to make sure that the numbers go down, or they start to panic the day before they've got a body composition scan, and they'll start to do things like water manipulation or starving themselves or having extra caffeine to see if they can make the numbers fudge into the direction that they want, which is not the intent of measuring. It's not an exam. There's no right or wrong, right? It's around checking where you're actually at. And if you start manipulating those variables, then we don't actually have an accurate picture of where we're getting at. And again, as well, people aren't going to look at you and go, hey, would you mind pulling out, your body composition scan results so that we can just check, how you look like and what you look like on paper? It doesn't really work that way, right? So there's a time and place for numbers, but the numbers aren't the be-all and end-all, right? So the thing is as well is that people will start to judge their worth and their happiness on the numbers. They're happy if they've managed to lose a couple of kilos since the last measurement, or, some percentage of body fat that they've been aiming towards and it's drifting down. And then, in a given day a week, and then, the next result, if it doesn't move or it goes backwards a little bit, then, they get really sad. Or they, start thinking that nothing's working and they want to change everything, which is, it's not how it happens as well. Like, you might have some results, and yeah, you need to adjust the plan, but you don't necessarily need to adjust the plan all the time as well, right? Because what we're looking for is a pattern of pattern of results that tells us that we're directionally heading in the wrong trajectory or the wrong, or away from where we want to get to, right? And then we need to make the adjustments. Sometimes things are going to fluctuate because there's other contextual issues. I mean, if you think about for females in terms of your hormone profile and how much that changes every month, well, guess what? Your scales and your water and your body composition results are going to change as a result, right? And the same thing happens for all of us in terms of, for guys, for example, it could be, some weeks you're really strong and other weeks you're not lifting as much as a gym, but that doesn't mean that you're necessarily weaker. It just means there's other things going on, right? So I guess the other thing is as well, right, is that when we're tracking what we're doing with our health and fitness, we're not just doing this to improve numbers on the scale. We have to go back to the reason that we started this, right? And when we start trying to get into the driver's seat and take control of our health and fitness, we're looking not just to improve the way that we look. There's a whole bunch of other benefits. We're looking to improve our overall health, our longevity, our vivaciousness and vitality for life, our performance, our energy, and any other type of qualitative measures. It could be even just, feeling more comfortable in your own skin, or whatever the case may be. Um, and also, I think it's important to know that sometimes numbers lie, right? So, for example, you can radically change your body without actually shifting anything on the scale, because you could potentially be losing body fat and putting on lean muscle mass, and muscle weighs more than fat. So, you could be a whole dress size smaller, but actually weigh more on the scales. That's quite common. So I think, and you could look a lot bigger by being leaner and having more muscle as well, but actually, you're actually a lot tinier when it comes to actually putting the clothes on. You just look bigger in comparison because of the proportions. So it all, numbers don't tell us everything. So yeah, and it's quite common as well when you start training seriously and eating properly for your body composition to change. And this is why it's important to understand the difference between weight loss and fat loss, right? Because fat loss can actually mean an improved body composition and fitting into clothes better and feeling better about yourself and having more energy and a higher metabolism. But the scales will tell you that you're heavier. And, like if I get on a set of scales, in my off season, I'm apparently obese. I'm not. And, my body fat percentage doesn't get above 15, and, and I'm not really that heavy either, considering my height. But a BMI measurement isn't going to tell you what's going on for somebody who does bodybuilding as a hobby. So the other thing is as well is that if you have modest health and fitness goals, then you might not even need to rely on numbers at all. You may simply want to enjoy the process and check the mirror from time to time to see how things are going. Again, if you do something like a physique competition, you're not going to get up on stage covered in tan and start pulling out your body composition scale results, right? They're going to look at how lean you look based on visuals. It's a visual assessment and an objective or a subjective sport, an assessment around how you compare to the other competitors on stage on any given day. So, those numbers, again, don't tell us anything. So I guess the thing is as well is that, if you engage or start a health and fitness journey, then the assumption is that you're, intending to improve the way you look and feel. And so you're expecting happiness with your body as a reward. So instead of waiting for you to reach a certain number to feel happy, which never works out like that anyway, you need to find ways that you're important with where you're at now and proud of yourself for the steps that you're taking towards improving your health and fitness. The other things that you could measure to see, how you're progressing and how well you're feeling about yourself is, do you feel stronger? Do you feel like you have more energy? Are you sleeping better? Do your clothes feel better? Are you seeing muscles that you never thought you had before? Do you like, do you like what you're seeing in the mirror more when you look in there? Are you more confident in terms of wearing certain clothes, or taking more photos and smiling more when you're out with friends? Do you feel more athletic? And do you have any other things happening, like headaches or dry skin? Have they all sort of subsided since you've started exercising? So these are all the things that will likely improve when you start on a journey, particularly when you work with a coach in either nutrition or fitness or both. And your coach will point out these things and ask you those questions to draw your attention back to those things as well, because they're important results. When we think about you and a holistic health model as well, right? Like, we don't want you just operating well in one area. We want you performing optimally in all. And looking after your health and fitness from the inside out is one of the best ways to actually help be a catalyst to drive some of those changes. So the other thing is as well is we don't want to be obsessive with the numbers to the point where you're getting on scales every day, because that's not going to necessarily help you get in the right trajectory or instill the right habits as well, because getting on the scales every day is only going to tell you how much water or how much food you've got in your system and all those sorts of things from day to day. It's not going to tell you how necessarily you're progressing over a period of time. So the idea is that, if you step away from watching the scale like a hawk looking for mice on the field, and waiting for the needle to tip, then you're more likely to be a bit more sane and enjoy the journey more. So that is tip 8, avoid numbers and nuttiness. And stay tuned next week as we go through tips 9 and 10. Also, if you're enjoying this, comment below. Let us know if there's if any of these tips are ringing true for you, or if you've implemented any changes since listening to this blog series. And of course, if there's any topics you would like me to talk about, then feel free to comment or reach out to Jay and I to let us know. All right. Have a great weekend. Bye.